Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and Merry Christmas to all who celebrate, and I hope you have a great day tomorrow. It's the 24th today. I thought I'd bring a Christmas video out for you. This build is an explosive build with the oxidizer as well and the mortar turret, and it just blows everything up. And we're actually using the exotic chest piece, which is pretty rare to use, and our main piece of item is the backpack, which is festive delivery. You can only get this at Christmas time for Loot Goblin, which I'll leave a link in the description for a video to show you the best places to farm him and what you get, stuff like that. But that's my content, guys. Like and subscribe, and let's get straight into this build video. So our first piece of gear is the mask. We're using a Wyvern wear piece because we get 8% skill damage, which we're speccing into skill damage because we're using the mortar and the oxidizer, so you can get as much skill damage as you can. So we have one yellow core, 10.1% skill haste, that can be 12%. We have skill damage and a 12% skill haste mod, so you want as much skill haste as you can get as well, because you have the chem launcher, which it takes a few seconds to come back. So the holster I'm using is the Bakaro's holster. Reason I'm using this is because it has 10% skill haste. You can swap this to something else if you want to, but I swapped it because it has 10% weapon damage and it's good for using the capacitor. We have 10% skill damage and it's rolled to a skill tier, so we have 2 skill tiers at the minute. Third piece of gear is the gloves, which we use in China Light. We get 15% explosive damage. This applies to your mortar and the grenades that you'll be throwing. I'll show you that in a second. 4 attribute is a skill tier. The attributes are skill damage and skill haste. So the knee pads we're using Grupo Sombra. We get 30% critical hit damage. That's irrelevant to this build. What we're going for is the 20% explosive damage. Our other piece is the backpack. I'll show you that in a second. So we have a skill tier, skill damage and skill haste. The second part of the Grupo brand set that we need for the 20% explosive damage is the backpack, which is the festive delivery. Like I said, you can only get this at Christmas time, so I'll leave the video below how to get it. So we have a skill tier. I've got critical hit damage and skill damage. Try and get skill haste, but it will be pretty hard to get. And the mod is 12% skill haste. And then the talent is fireworks show. Concussion grenades become festive grenades. Hitting an enemy with a festive grenade will cause explosions to happen around 2 other enemies within 20 meters. So we actually have extra grenades because we're using the exotic chest piece. That's the next piece I'll show you. But yeah, it's actually pretty entertaining throwing these grenades, and mass big fireworks going off, and that's pretty cool. So I just thought I'd put this build together for you. Final piece of gear that you'll need is the collector chest piece. You can just farm this in the open world or countdown, wherever you want. You'll get it. It's open world drop. So we have crit chance and crit damage. That's not really important. I do wish you could like re-roll on exotics, but you can't. So I have skill haste as the mod, and the talent on this chest piece is you get 3 extra grenades. So we have 7 grenades. 50% grenade radius, 35% grenade damage, and 25% grenade damage for each extra enemy caught in the blast. Automatically regenerate a grenade every 30 seconds if you have less than 2 grenades in your inventory. I do think they should remove that bit of the talent because it's just annoying. It only regenerates your grenades if you have less than 2, which is just annoying. So yeah, it's pretty good. So when you throw your grenade, basically it'll do a massive explosion. You'll have loads of damage from the chest piece because of the talent that you can see, and because you've thrown a concussion grenade, it will proc the backpack talent, which will make everything explode like fireworks, which does extra damage as well. So it's kind of like a grenade build. Main reason I made it. But yeah, the chest piece is actually pretty decent, and you can use sledgehammer with it for the extra damage. So primary weapon, I'm using the capacitor exotic assault rifle. We have assault rifle damage, damage to armor, damage targets out of cover, and the talent is shooting enemies builds stacked to a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage after 5 seconds. Stacks decay 1 per second. For each skill tier, gain 7.5% weapon damage. You have 5 skill tiers. at the minute if you want to use the capacitor, but if you bring out your pistol, you'll have 6 skill tiers. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And it has good mods, crit chance, crit damage. So yeah, this is a good weapon to use for skill builds, like period, any skill build. Secondary weapon I'm using is the lefty, named shotgun. You can just get this in the open world. We have shotgun damage, damage to armor, and damage to toxic cover. And the talent on this, named shotgun, is perfect sledgehammer. Dealing damage with a grenade applies a mark on target, which you are throwing loads of grenades. So targets with a mark will take 20% more damage to armor from the agent that applied the mark, and have a minus 30% movement speed. Mark will disappear after 10 seconds. So basically you'll always keep marking these, and you'll do a load more damage because you have 12% damage to armor on your capacitor as well. So you'll do a load of damage. So if you made kind of like getting rid of skill haste and added crit damage and crit chance or whatever, it would actually be pretty decent. If you wanted to basically have a shooting build, this is kind of like a stay back, relax build I've made. It's good for teams. I wouldn't recommend this build on solo personally. You can, don't get me wrong. I'd recommend it in groups instead. So pistol, I've got the TDI card custom. You can only get this from conflict caches, named caches, and the dark zone. You can't get it from anywhere else, unfortunately. So we have pistol damage, and we don't have any other attributes because you get a skill tier. The only time this skill tier will apply to your build is when you have it equipped. So if you have your primary or secondary out, that skill tier will get taken away from your build. So you'll only have 5 skill tiers. So if you want 6 skill tiers and you'll have some extra skill damage and stuff, just equip your pistol. And the talent I've put on it is in sync. Hitting an enemy grants 15% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a non-shield skill or damaging an enemy with a skill grants 15% weapon damage. And basically it doubles both if you hit one with a skill and shoot them with your weapon at the same time. So you can just hit 5 from cover basically with your pistol, and you do 30% extra skill damage, which is nice. It's always nice to use on skill builds. First skill I'm using is the artillery turret. The only way you can use the artillery turret is if you have the grenade launcher, specialization the demolitionist. I'm tier 6 at the minute because I've got my pistol equipped, but this build is default tier 5, skill tier 5. Equip the pistol, it'll be tier 6, okay? And that hits really hard anyway. The artillery turret is one of the best skills. Second skill I'm using is the oxidizer cam launcher. You can change this to like a fire cam launcher. You can change it to any skill you want. You can change it to the firefly that blows them all up because you've got explosive damage. That's up to you, but I prefer the oxidizer. Tier 6, like I said, tier 5 or tier 6, completely up to you. So this is the overall build. We have 1-piece China Light, explosive damage. We get 2-piece Grupo Sombra, that's explosive damage as well. We have Wyvern for skill damage, and we have Bakaro's Holster for the weapon damage. They're all skill tiers. Skill haste, skill damage. The chest is the exotic collector, exotic mask, and this is good for giving you extra grenades, extra grenade damage. This entwines with the backpack talent because you throw a grenade, you hit an enemy and it explodes. So you do a shit ton of grenade damage. You have the capacitor, shotgun, named sledgehammer, and we have card custom, which gives us an extra skill tier. Specialization we're using is the demolitionist. So specialization is demolitionist. We're using this because we get 10% increased explosive damage, affects explosive grenades, skills and effects, so it applies to your skills and your grenades. Then we get the mortar turret, that's the main reason. You also get, if you get hit by a grenade launcher for example, it ignores it for 60 seconds, which is nice. We have 15% shotgun damage, pistol damage, and assault rifle damage. So that is the build that I've made for Christmas, guys, if you celebrate Christmas. If not, then I hope you just enjoy this build, because it's actually pretty fun. You'll have gameplay in the background. And thanks for watching, guys, and happy hunting.